There are a couple of ways to change a slide's background. The easiest way that I find is to just take my mouse and right-click anywhere on the background and then go to Format Background. That'll open up a Format Background dialog box giving you several options. You can choose from solid fill colors, and for that you just hit this drop-down arrow, pick a color, and that'll change that slide background. Or you can choose a gradient fill, maybe use a combination of colors fading in from one to another. And with that, you can choose preset colors, a preset design, lots to choose from here. You can choose the direction that those colors fade. There's linear, radial, rectangular, path, and from the slide's title. I usually like linear. And for things like linear, you also have the choice of direction, whether it be diagonal, up and down, or vertical. But if you really want to get creative, you can play around with gradient stops down below. By default, any gradient will have at least 2 stops, if not more, like this one. And what that does, let's see, stop 1, if I move this over to the side and pick a very different color, you can see that stop 1 affects this small portion of the slide over here. And then you can go to stop 2, change that color. So every single one of these stops controls a portion of that gradient, and each stop in and of itself, you can control where that stop position occurs by using the sliding bar, or even affect the color's transparency. So really there are a lot of choices for how to control gradients in 2007. You also have a choice of creating a background from a picture or a texture. If you choose this option, you can choose from any number of preloaded textures, and you might recognize these from earlier versions of PowerPoint. Or you can insert a picture that's stored on your desktop from a file, from the clipboard, or you can even use Microsoft Office Clip Art. Clip art that is stored both on your computer and from Office Online. And I'm just going to type the word background in here. And depending on your internet connection, that might take a few moments. But let's say I like this daisies background. I can choose that, click OK, and it will apply that as the slide background. Now, if you look over to the left, you can see that it only applied that background to my first slide. If you'd like to apply a background to more than one slide, what you can do is click the button in the lower right-hand corner of your Format Background dialog box, Apply to All, and it will take that picture and stick that on the back of every single slide that you have in your presentation. Let me close this a second and skip over to our second slide. Now on this slide, the picture kind of gets in the way of my text up here. So if I ever want to go through and modify a particular slide background, again, same method that we used to create it. We can right-click, go to Format Background, and that will reopen that dialog box. Now for this picture, if we go to this picture section, since we've chosen a picture background, we have more options to control what this slide looks like. So if I want to increase the brightness or the contrast, maybe decrease that a bit, or even use some recoloring options. There's washout, even light variations of black and white. I can apply that here, close, and that way my text will stand out a little bit more. And that is changing the background by right-clicking the slide and kind of playing with the controls yourself. Or if you want to save a little bit of time, you can also change the background design by going up to the Design tab and jumping over to the Background group. Now if you hit the drop-down arrow next to Background Styles, you'll see that there are some pre-built gradients built in based on your color scheme for your presentation. So if I want to just have a simple Style 9 fade, clicking on that once will apply that design style to both or all of your slides in your presentation. However, if you just want to apply style to one slide of your presentation using these background styles, what you can do, hover your mouse over a style you like, right-click, and choose Apply to Selected Slides. And that'll apply it to just that one slide. If you don't like the colors that you see here in this pane, what you can do is change your color scheme, and that will change the color or the colors used in your presentation. And that is how you format the background using PowerPoint 2007. Thanks for watching. For more great Microsoft Office tutorials, subscribe to TrainSignal's YouTube channel, TrainSignal Office, or you can visit www.trainsignal.com for more information regarding our complete Microsoft Office training library.